Hello everyone, welcome to Catalysis by Vedantu. My name is Pahul, and if I'm audible and visible, please write here in the chat box. Now today we are starting a new chapter, and that is the chapter of chemical bonding. And this is one of those chapters of inorganic chemistry that have a lot of logic in it, although there are some weird things like every chapter of inorganic does, but most of the chapter is very logical and a lot of fun to learn. Now the good thing about this chapter is it's a very important chapter for all of your examinations. Lots of questions will come from this chapter, so please make sure you pay attention to all the classes that we will be doing for this chapter. Yes, so without any further delay, let's begin. What is a chemical bond? Batao bhai, what is a chemical bond? What do you think is a chemical bond? And I'm pretty sure sometime in your earlier classes you have read the idea of what a chemical bond is. Yes, ये तो पढ़ा ही होगा कभी ना कभी. What is a chemical bond? So chemical bond is just a fancy name for forces of attraction, isn't it? Force of attraction. Now, what force of attraction are we talking about? We are talking about the force of attraction between two specific atoms or more. Yeah. So whenever a cluster of atoms is together, whenever two or more atoms are clubbed together to form a molecule, which is the basic constituent of any compound, that is said to be held together by the force of attraction of a chemical bond. And there are multiple theories of how chemical bonds are formed, right? आपको पता ही होगा, there are theories of ionic bonds, covalent bonds, metallic bonds, etc. We've seen some ideas about metallic radius, covalent radius, etc. earlier in the periodic properties chapter as well. So these bonds could be of different types. Covalent ho gaya, ionic ho gaya. Very simple example would be NaCl, where sodium has a positive charge, chlorine has a negative charge. So the charges attract each other, and that is how they stick together. Right? So this is what basically a chemical bond is. It's just force of attraction. Now, why do elements form bonds? That is the question. Why should I form a bond? क्यों बनाऊं मैं bond? Because whatever exists in this world exists in this way because it is stable. This pen exists like this because it is stable. If it wasn't stable, maybe it would explode right now. Yeah. So whatever exists around us exists because it is stable. So chemical bonds were formed so that everything could be stable. Now, why do things happen the way they happen in nature? No one knows. That is philosophy. Yeah. Why does the earth go around the sun? Someone will say gravity. Why does gravity exist? Someone will say it is a distortion in the space-time fabric. Why does the space-time fabric exist? You can't keep on going towards why all the time, because science cannot explain why things happen. Science can only explain how things happen. Yeah. So why do we have such a world around us? Well, no one knows. You can accredit it or blame it on God. Yeah. So chemical bond is just a force of attraction, and that is because we assume that every system wants to be more stable. Now people, what are the elements that are already stable? In old days, in late 1800s, early 1900s, as you know, a lot of elements were not really discovered. And even if they were discovered, their properties were not very clear. So if I say noble gases, helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon, fine. But primarily these, they don't really react. Yeah, very difficult to form compounds out of them. So scientists realized that these systems are already stable. ठीक है, helium, neon, argon, these systems are already stable. And what is the special thing about these elements? They have 8 valence electrons, isn't it? These particular elements have 8 valence electrons in them. So scientists thought that since these are stable with 8 valence electrons, they thought that everything would want to make a compound so that they can have 8 valence electrons. Yeah, that's the theory. That since these are stable, everything else wants to become like these, hence chemical bonding. Right? So these theories were formalized by a few scientists back in the early 1900s. So this is a little bit of history. So Lewis and Kosel, these two scientists were working independently, and 1916 they were the first to provide a logical explanation for the bonding. Great. Lewis said, imagine a positive core with outer cube shell with 8 corners. Okay, this is just an imagination, by the way. This is what Lewis said, that you can imagine something like this, that the valence shell of the atom is like a cube, and the atom wants to fill all the corners of the cube with electrons. Just an imagination, of course, doesn't really exist like that. So atoms link together to form stable octets. I know, certainly a lot of people will say, sir, but hydrogen and helium, they do not form octets, they form duplets. True. So for smaller species like hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, it is implicit that we will form duplets. Okay, so duplet is just a more specific idea. Octet rule as such is more general in nature. Okay, of course there are a lot of exceptions, there are a lot of limitations of the octet rule as well, which we will study eventually. But yeah, you understand that generally we are trying to say that atoms want to form octets. Now then comes the covalent bond, which we are acquainted with quite a lot. We've started drawing structures in earlier classes for a lot of compounds. So covalent bond was essentially defined in 1919 by Langmuir. Okay, Langmuir mat कहना इसको. Please don't call him Langmuir. This guy redefined the Lewis postulates that were given in 1916, and then he called them the Lewis-Langmuir theory. Very simple. So what do we do in Lewis-Langmuir theory? What do we do in Lewis structures? Do you remember Lewis structures? Can we make the Lewis structure a very simple one for Cl2? So what we used to do was that we said one chlorine atom will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 valence electrons. Another chlorine atom will have the same idea, 5, 6, 7 valence electrons. Yeah. So now these valence electrons would want to combine with each other in a certain manner that both of them have access to 8 electrons at the same time. So you would draw circles like this. Yeah. This chlorine now has access to that electron, and this chlorine now has access to this electron. So what have they done? They have formed one bond by sharing 2 electrons. So this is the first thing that is very important in this chapter, which is very obvious, but time and again you will be reminded of this fact in chemistry, that one bond is equal to 2 electrons. Okay, one bond is formed by 2 electrons. Whenever we have a covalent bond, it is formed by the sharing of 2 electrons. Alright, okay? So a better way to draw this structure, instead of drawing all these knots and crosses all the time, dots and crosses all the time, is just do this. Chlorine bonded with chlorine. So this line that we've made over here represents 2 electrons. So whenever you see a covalent bond, always visualize it as 2 electrons. Fine. Now one more thing is that we can draw the remaining electrons on the chlorine. A pair of these electrons will be called a lone pair. What does lone mean? Lone means alone. Alone bolo to akela. Lone pair. So it's like an oxymoron. Do you guys know what's an oxymoron? An oxymoron is similar to an ironic statement. It's like lone pair. It isn't a pair, but it is alone. You see the irony? So such words are known as oxymoron. I mean, such cases are known as oxymorons. Just do a Google search on this to understand what an oxymoron is. Cool. Anyway, so 2 electrons, and every chlorine will have 3 lone pairs. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, and on the left hand side as well, 1, 2, and 3. Cool. So there are 3 lone pairs on every chlorine, and the middle one, these 2 electrons, these can also be called a bonded pair. Okay? 1 bonded pair, 3 lone pairs on each chlorine. Fine, got it. So this was just a recap of how we used to draw Lewis structures. Fine. So can we form a few more structures? Every shared pair is a bond. Shared pair of electrons. Every atom contributes at least one electron. That's how it works. In a typical normal covalent bond, every atom contributes at least one electron. So these structures are very simple. Let's quickly draw them. So for H2O, what will we do? Water, I mean, the molecule that we are trying to form over here is water. Hydrogen. Yes. So hydrogen has only one electron. It gave its electron to oxygen for bonding. Hydrogen has one electron, gave its electron. So both the hydrogens now have their duplets complete. Oxygen in its valence shell now has 1, 2. One bond pair is 2 electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4. Needs 4 more electrons to become 8. Where are those remaining electrons? They are on oxygen as lone pairs. ठीक है? So 1 lone pair, 2 lone pairs plus 2 bond pairs. Total 4 electrons. Yeah? 4 pairs of electrons. Total 8 electrons. Yes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the structure of water. Fine. Similarly, we can make the structure of CCl4. Carbon in the middle. You make 4 chlorines around it. So carbon has 4 electron pairs around it. It has the octet complete. For chlorine, what will we do? We just need to make 3 lone pairs on every chlorine. ऐसा इसको बिंदु बिंदु लगा देते हैं. So this is the Lewis structure of CCl4. Very simple. But my dear friends, now it is important for us to understand something very useful. Okay? In the rest of chemistry, especially in organic chemistry and in inorganic chemistry, and a little bit of that in physical chemistry, you will be drawing a lot of structures. You will be drawing a lot of structures, and in order to draw those structures properly, you need to understand how the dynamics of this Lewis structure making works. For that, the way I will teach you is a little different, and I will tell you about this great news before I tell you about the important thing related to the chapter. Cool. So what is this great news? This great news is that if you want to join us, if you want to join Vedantu as a regular student, you can join the full course. How to join the full course? This is the link. It's a paid course. Like you have offline coaching, we have online coaching. In lockdown, everything has moved online, so I think this is a very good option for you. Just enroll here and you will get access to a lot of live classes. Those live classes will be recorded, lots of amazing teachers, all subjects that you want. You will have study materials, tests, assignments, everything that you have in a coaching institute available online, much better. This is the coupon code, by the way, discount code. So there are multiple options available. You can subscribe to this course for 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months even, yeah? And the prices are as low as 2,500 per month. So that's really amazing. If you apply the coupon code, you can get a very low price as well. And the prices are really competitive. If you join a typical offline institute, they will ask for lakhs every year. 2,500 per month is definitely a steal. Chalo. So now comes the important thing, bonding styles. See, forming Lewis structures all the time by taking your logic into your brain, it can be done, yeah? For example, if we want to make CCl4, carbon, as you know, has 4 valence electrons. Carbon has 4 valence electrons. Then you can do chlorines. And then you can bond these. And you can keep doing this jazz all over the place to understand how the bond is formed. But this takes a lot of time. Why don't we just understand how carbon makes bonds and then replicate that style all over the place? एक बार समझ लेते हैं कार्बन कैसा बॉन्ड बनाता है, फिर जो भी स्ट्रक्चर दिखेगा कार्बन का, उसमें वही चीज रेप्लिकेट कर देंगे. ठीक है? So my dear friends, understand. Carbon loves to make 4 bonds around it. Okay? This is the standard condition. What is the standard condition for carbon? Carbon loves to make 4 bonds around it. Okay? So what is the standard condition? Carbon would love to have 4 bond pairs. Okay? Carbon would love to have 4 bond pairs. Now, my dear friends, let us look at a positively charged carbon. When in a structure will carbon have a positive charge? ऐसा कब होगा? So, my dear friends, right now notice this carbon, okay, has 8 valence electrons. Yes, but do you realize? थोड़ा सा मैं mathematics दिखाता हूं आपको यहां पे. If I look at just one carbon atom, okay, this carbon atom has how many protons? 6 protons. It has 6 protons. So, just giving you a very simplistic diagram over here so that we can understand what's going on. 2 electrons in the first shell, the K shell, and the second shell will have 4 more electrons. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 electrons in the outer shell. Now, these 4 electrons then end up bonding with, let's say, a chlorine. Yeah, so chlorine ने मान लो इसके साथ bond कर लिया. One more chlorine comes, it bonds with this guy. One more chlorine comes, bonds with this guy. And one more chlorine over here will come and bond with this guy. So, my dear friends, the red electrons that we have made, are being satisfied by the 6 protons of carbon. Do you understand? These 6 protons are satisfying this electron, this, and this. 2 inward and 4 valence electrons are being neutralized. Negative charge versus positive charge. So the atom is neutral over here. Standard neutral atom. Fine. So in these bonds, there are 2 electrons. 4 of them belong to carbon. The other 4 belong to some other element. These black ones belong to some other element. So this electron's negative charge is being taken care of by chlorine. Chlorine के प्रोटॉन इस इलेक्ट्रॉन के चार्ज को बैलेंस कर रहे हैं. Right? Awesome. So when carbon has 4 bonds, it will not have any charge on it. ठीक है? Now, my dear friends, what I will do is, let me do something like this. Okay? मैं क्या करता है यहां पे? I will take away 2 of these electrons. कार्बन से क्या करते हैं? ये 2 इलेक्ट्रॉन खींच के ले जाते हैं. Let's take away these 2 electrons. Let us keep carbon. Okay, यहां पे तो पूरा ही बना देते हैं. Okay, let us make a carbon which has only 3 bond pairs around it. ठीक है? Let's make a carbon which has only 3 bond pairs around it. Now, my dear friends, how many electrons does this carbon have for its own self? 1, 2, 3 plus 2 inner electrons. This is the valence shell. So there are 3 in the valence shell, 2 in the inner shell. Total कितने electrons हो गए? 5 electrons. But how many protons does carbon have? 6 protons. You must be wondering, sir, but what about these electrons? As I told you, these electrons are being taken care of by the other thing that has bonded with carbon. हो सकता है यहाँ पे hydrogen bond हो सकता है यहाँ पे chlorine के साथ bond हो. So whatever bond is there, whatever atom is there bonding with the carbon, that is taking care of this other electron. Fine. So these other outer electrons are being taken care of by the other element. So over here, if you notice, valence electrons are 3. Inner electrons will be 2 because inner electrons we are not changing them anyway. So total number of electrons with carbon over here are 5. Protons are 6. So my dear friends, do you realize this carbon will have a positive charge on it? Do you understand this carbon will have a positive charge on it? If you didn't understand, rewind and watch this part again. It's very important that you figure this out in your own brain. खुद से थोड़ा जोर लगाने की कोशिश करना. इस कार्बन के पास खुद के पास 5 इलेक्ट्रॉन है क्योंकि हम इसका 1 इलेक्ट्रॉन ले गए. This 1 electron that belonged to carbon, we have taken it away. Fine. So my dear friends, do you realize this will have a positive charge? One of its electrons has been taken away. This entire structure, you need to keep it in your mind. How will you keep it in your mind? When does carbon have a positive charge? I'll write over here, positive carbon. When does carbon have a positive charge? When it has only 3 bond pairs. Okay. When does carbon have a positive charge? When it has only 3 bond pairs. So remember, carbon with 4 bond pairs is neutral. Carbon with 3 bond pairs has a positive charge. Now, what we will do is, let us try to make a negative carbon. Let's give it an extra electron. How will we give it an extra electron? Let me show you. Right now, 3 bond pairs. So carbon has 5 electrons. 6 will make it neutral. 7 will make it negatively charged. 5 electrons right now. 6 electrons will make it neutral, as is in the first case. 7 electrons will make it negatively charged. How do I give it 2 more electrons? Just give it 1 lone pair of electrons. What is happening over here? I have 3 bond pairs, 1 lone pair on the carbon. BP bolo to bond pair, LP bolo to lone pair. I've explained what these are in the beginning of the class. So this particular carbon has 3 bond pairs, 2 lone pairs. So my dear friends, how many electrons does carbon have to take care of? Carbon has to take care of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 2 inner 6 and 7 electrons. Yes. 7 electrons, 6 protons. So that is why carbon has a negative charge. So carbon will have a negative charge when it has 3 bond pairs, 1 lone pair. My dear friends, please make sure you definitely note this idea down. Carbon is neutral with 4 bond pairs, positive with only 3 bond pairs, negative with 3 bond pairs and 1 lone pair. Please make sure you note this down. This piece of information will be very helpful for you later on. Chalo. If you need more time on that page, you can pause the video. Now let us try to do the same thing for nitrogen. फटाफट से करेंगे. Now we won't spend a lot of time. So nitrogen के लिए what molecule do you know? NH3. Yeah. So nitrogen would love to make. Okay. Let's just take the reference of NH3. Okay. So in NH3 what happens is, let's draw NH3 elaborately and then we'll write the bonding styles. So nitrogen has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 क्या कहते हैं, nitrogen has 5 valence electrons on it. Out of these you bond 3 of them with hydrogen. Okay, so nitrogen now has access to 8 electrons in the valence shell, but its protons are balancing only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 2 inner 6 and 7 valence electrons. Yeah, 2 inner electrons in the first shell, second shell, valence shell, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 electrons. So this case has 7 protons and 7 electrons. What is this case? We will write it over here. When do we have a neutral nitrogen? We have a neutral nitrogen when it has 3 bond pairs, 1 lone pair. Remember this. So यहाँ पे बना देंगे, nitrogen has 3 bond pairs and 1 lone pair. Okay, 3 bond pairs, 1 lone pair. This nitrogen is neutral. Now, my dear friends, the next thing that we will do is let's try to create a nitrogen that has a positive charge. Okay, so how will we create a positively charged nitrogen? It's a little different from what we do in carbon. Positive nitrogen. Let us take one of its electrons and give it to someone else. ठीक है, ये इलेक्ट्रॉन लेके ना किसी और को दे देते हैं अपन. So nitrogen, when you make NH4, what is happening right now? Nitrogen has to take care of 1, 2, 3, 4 valence electrons plus 2 inner electrons. 4 plus 2 is 6 electrons. It has 7 protons. So my dear friends, obviously nitrogen will have a positive charge. These other electrons are being taken care of by hydrogens. Hydrogen के protons इनका ख्याल रख रहे हैं. Yes. So 6 electrons, 7 protons, nitrogen will have a positive charge. So what is the bonding style for nitrogen? Nitrogen will have a positive charge when it has 4 bond pairs. Okay? Nitrogen will have a positive charge when it has 4 bond pairs. So my dear friends, now let us try to make a negative nitrogen. मैं फटाफट से बना दूंगा आपके लिए. Just note it down. A negative nitrogen will be something which has 2 bond pairs and 2 lone pairs. How many electrons does nitrogen have to take care of? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. है ना जी? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 valence plus 2 inner electrons. 6 plus 2 is 8. So over here you have 8 electrons, 7 protons. So this will be nitrogen with a negative charge. Okay, this denotes negative charge. So 2 bond pairs and 2 lone pairs. So my dear friends, please remember this bonding style for nitrogen. Please make a note of it and remember this bonding style for nitrogen. Whenever nitrogen has 3 bond pairs, 1 lone pair, neutral, 4 bond pairs, positive charge, 2 bond pair, 2 lone pair, negative charge. Okay, this is how nitrogen works. Very simple. Okay, this is very important for us to understand. Chalo, badhiya. Let's move on to oxygen now. Oxygen के लिए what species do we know that is the standard species? Water. So फटाफट से करेंगे. If we have neutral oxygen, okay, if we have neutral oxygen, it will have around it 2 bond pairs and 2 lone pairs. We just saw the structure of water initially, yeah? You can see oxygen has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 valence electrons. 2 of them start bonding with hydrogen. 2 lone pairs remain. So over here, neutral oxygen exists when it has 2 bond pairs and 2 lone pairs. Now, when will oxygen have a positive charge? I'll give you the idea. You just make 3 bond pairs, 1 lone pair. Oxygen, 3 bond pairs and 1 lone pair. So how many electrons does oxygen have to take care of right now? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 plus 2, that is 5, 6, 7. 7 electrons. But how many protons does oxygen have? 8 protons. So that is why oxygen has a positive charge over here. तो यहाँ पे इस पे एक positive charge लगा देंगे. Okay, we'll put a positive charge over here. Now, when will oxygen be negative? I am pretty sure now you've guessed the trend. To convert neutral into positively charged, we are adding 1 bond pair for nitrogen and oxygen. So over here we will take away a bond pair and add 1 lone pair. Yes. तो यहाँ पे क्या होगा? Oxygen, 1 bond pair, 3 lone pairs. Yes. So over here, my dear friends, if you notice, how many electrons is oxygen taking care of? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 electrons outer and then 2 inner electrons. 7, 8, 9 electrons हो गए total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 outer electrons, 2 inner electrons, total 9 electrons, and you have 8 protons. So this becomes a negatively charged oxygen. So you just write a negative charge next to one of the lone pairs. Okay, this is how we generally draw a negative charge. This is how we generally draw a negative charge. You just put a negative next to one of the lone pairs. Okay, so whenever you see a symbol like this for a negative charge, whenever you see a symbol like this for a negative charge or something like this, don't get confused. It just means that 2 electrons exist together. You know, 2 electrons exist together because they are paired with each other. Do you remember this? Yeah, do you remember this from the chapter of structure of the atom? So 2 electrons will exist together as paired electrons. So that is why we write a negative charge next to a pair of electrons. Only one of the electrons is causing the negative charge because this is, let's say, the extra electron. This is, let's say, the 9th electron. Cool. So what is the bonding style of oxygen for negative charge? 1 bond pair, 3 lone pairs. Now you must be wondering, sir, it is too much to remember. How can I remember so many things? Just draw it in your notebook once, it will automatically be obvious to you. Okay? Once we keep on drawing more structures, this will be even more easy for you. So don't worry, through this chapter, when we keep going through this chapter, these ideas will become very obvious to you. Right now, it might look like you have to memorize them, but no need. You will remember these automatically. Now, people, do you notice that the total number of electron pairs around carbon, nitrogen, oxygen in all cases were 4? 2 plus 2 is 4, 3 plus 1 is 4, 1 plus 3 is 4. So the total number of electron pairs has to be 4, right? Because we want to create an octet. 4 electron pairs is equal to 8 electrons. So just keep that in mind. Overall, you should have 4 electron pairs around these atoms. Moving on to fluorine. Okay, so the bonding style that we will discuss for fluorine exists for chlorine, bromine, iodine as well. Okay, the bonding style we discussed for oxygen exists for sulfur, selenium, etc. The bonding style we discussed for nitrogen exists for phosphorus, arsenic. Bonding style for carbon will exist for silicon, germanium, etc. So exists for other bigger elements as well, but bigger elements have more flexibility of forming chemical compounds, and we'll see that later eventually in the due course of chemistry. Okay? Understand that this is a basic chapter, so it won't satiate all of your curiosity, it won't give you the answers of all of your doubts, but slowly, steadily, when we keep on learning more and more chemistry, a lot of your doubts will be ironed out. Dheere dheere hoga. Have patience. Chalo, so bonding style of fluorine. So fluorine, as you know, likes to form one bond, HCl, HF. These species exist very successfully. So we just made a Cl2 structure as well. One chlorine was making one bond and there were 3 lone pairs on it in the beginning of the class. So same thing for fluorine. You can think about the same thing for chlorine, bromine, iodine as well. Okay? Majority of the cases. What will happen over here? Fluorine wants to have one bond pair and 1, 2, 3 lone pairs. This is when fluorine is neutral. Okay, 1 bond pair, 3 lone pairs. When will this have a negative charge? तो ये हो गया neutral. When will this have a negative charge? Just put 4 lone pairs around it. As simple as that. Okay, 4 lone pairs. So you can see there is one extra electron that it has to take care of. Yeah, one of these electrons will be an extra electron that it has to take care of. So 4 lone pairs is equal to negative charge. You know, positively charged halogens don't really exist, but if let's say a halogen exists with a positive charge, let's say chlorine exists with 1 positive charge, so what will happen? It will have 2 bond pairs and 2 lone pairs. Do you understand why? Let's figure it out. Generally, a halogen would like to keep 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 electrons with it in the valence shell for it to be neutral. Halogen के neutral होने के लिए उसके valence में 7 electron उसके खुद के होने चाहिए. Yeah. Over here, chlorine has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 electrons that it's taking care of. 6 electrons means 1 less electron. So whenever you have a positively charged halogen, it will essentially have 2 bond pairs and 2 lone pairs. Once again, the total number of electron pairs that we've made is equal to 4. Got it? So please make sure you write this down as well. So now, my dear friends, what we will do is we will use this knowledge of the bonding styles to form some structures. Ab banate hain structures. Now we will understand how these bonding styles will be used properly. So the first structure that we have on the screen is CO2. CO2 है अपना first structure, so let's draw CO2. ठीक है? So carbon, oxygen and oxygen. Carbon wants to have 4 bond pairs. Does CO2 have any charge? No, CO2 is a neutral species. So what is the bonding style of oxygen? Oxygen wants 2 bond pairs, 2 lone pairs to be neutral. Carbon wants 4 bond pairs to be neutral. Yes. Can I do this? Done. As simple as that. If you started doing it by Lewis idea, then what will you do? You will write carbon 1, 2, 3, 4 valence electrons, oxygen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 valence electrons. Okay, let us bond. It'll take a lot of time. जोर लग जाएगा करने में. Better is just to remember their bonding styles, use a little bit of common sense, and you'll be able to write these structures very easily. Okay? So this is the structure of CO2. Great. Next structure that we have to make is CH4. चलो CH4 का भी structure बनाते हैं. Carbon wants to have 4 bond pairs around it. CH4, as you can see, is a neutral species. Hydrogen, 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 hydrogen. You know hydrogen only forms 1 bond. No lone pairs anywhere. Structure is complete. This is the structure of CH4. As simple as that. No need to think of anything more. Okay? N2 का यही बना देते हैं structure. There are 2 nitrogens. Each nitrogen wants to have 3 bond pairs, 1 lone pair for neutrality. Just look at your notes. Nitrogen would want to have 3 bond pairs, 1 lone pair. 3 bond pairs, 1 lone pair each. Structure of nitrogen is done. Yeah. Then you have C2H2. अच्छा ये भी बना देते हैं. Carbon, carbon, hydrogen, hydrogen. Logically keeping the structure symmetric. There are more complicated typical structures. We will learn them slowly and steadily. So over here, hydrogen only wants 1 bond. Great. Carbon wants 4 bonds total to be neutral. 1, 2, and 3. Done. Carbon has 4 bond pairs. Carbon has 4 bond pairs. Hydrogen has 1 bond pair each. Neutral structure. Very simple. ठीक है जी? Make sure you note it down. These structures are simple and I'm pretty sure you've drawn them in your earlier classes as well. ठीक है? Great. Now let's come to a few more structures. These structures are a little more entertaining. First structure is NF3. Simple, not very difficult. कहाँ चला गया? Yeah, this board is a little confusing at times. So what about NF3 people? So this structure, it might be going out of the screen a little bit. We want to draw NF3. Okay? थोड़ा सा कभी कभी इधर उधर हो जाता है. So NF3, how do we draw NF3? Very simple. Nitrogen wants to have 3 bond pairs around it. Put fluorines over there. Fluorine wants to have 1 bond pair around it. Life is simple. How do we draw the lone pairs? Nitrogen wants to have 1 lone pair. Each fluorine will have 3 lone pairs on it. Yeah, 1, 2, and 3. Done. Structure of NF3 is done. Similarly, how do we make the structure of CO3 2 negative now? This is entertaining. We'll come to ozone in a little while. CO3 2 negative, how do we make that structure? चलो तो वो बनाते हैं अच्छे से. Let's clear the board. So we have to make CO3 2 negative. There is a carbon. There are 3 oxygens. 2 negative charge exists. My dear friends, carbon is lesser in electronegativity, oxygen is higher in electronegativity. So it makes sense for us to keep the negative charges on oxygen. So out of this structure, 2 oxygens have negative charges. Okay, so let us say this oxygen has negative charge. If an oxygen has negative charge, what is its bonding style? If this oxygen has a negative charge, its bonding style will be 3 bond pairs. Sorry, उल्टा लिख दिया मैंने. It will be 1 bond pair, 3 lone pairs. Same for this. 3 bond, फिर उल्टा लिख दिया मैंने. 1 bond pair, 3 lone pairs. That's what we just discussed for oxygen. This oxygen is neutral because there's only a 2 negative charge on the entire molecule. This oxygen is neutral, carbon will keep neutral. So this oxygen will have 2 bond pairs, 2 lone pairs. And this carbon will have 4 bond pairs on it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. Structure of CO3 2 negative is done. Oxygen 2 bond pairs. Let's put the 2 lone pairs. Carbon 4 bond pairs. This oxygen 1 bond pair. 1, 2, 3 lone pairs. Let's just write 1 lone pair next to the negative charge as we do. Oxygen 1, 2 and 3. Got it? CO3 2 negative. Very simple structure. Awesome. तो ये भी हो गया. Now, my dear friends, it's time for us to struggle a little with ozone. Ozone will make us struggle. Ozone will make us fight. Let's see how. Ozone has 3 oxygens, but all 3 of them are neutral. Acha. So if I make a structure like this, let us say this is your ozone. This is one of the oxygens. One more oxygen. One more oxygen. Oxygen, in order to be neutral, needs 2 bond pairs. Let's make 2 bond pairs over here. What about this oxygen now? How do we bond with it? Acha, theek hai, chalo. Let's try to make the middle oxygen neutral. If I do this, then the outer oxygens don't have 2 bonds. अब क्या करूं? A lot of you would suggest, sir, make a triangle. Yeah, a lot of you would say, sir, make a triangle. And a lot of you will be satisfied and happy and go home. But when scientists did experiment on this particular structure, if it was a triangular structure like this, do you realize if it was a triangular symmetric structure, it would essentially be an equilateral triangle? And the angle between these bonds, the angle between these bonds would have been 60 degrees. If it was a triangular molecule, the angle between the bonds would be 60 degrees. But my dear friends, this is not the case. The angle, you can check out the exact values online. The approximate value of the angle is somewhere around 120 degrees, approximately. Ab kya kare? Now what do we do? This is something else altogether. So, neither can I make this. I can't leave this oxygen. Nor can I make this. This oxygen is satisfied with 2 bond pairs. What about these two? They will end up having negative charges, only 1 bond pair. So, my dear friends, to make a structure for ozone is not possible by simple ideas. Isn't it? To form the structure of ozone is not possible by simple ideas. So what we should do now is we should figure out a way to do it. Now, ideally, you would want to make a new theory entirely. Yeah, the octet rule theory, the Lewis structure theory is not working for this structure. Okay, great. So ideally, we should make a new theory that, okay, this is how the bond might be happening. This is how the bond might be happening. But we don't want to go there. What we need to do right now in history, what was done is people came up with a hack. People came up with a jugaad. And what is that jugaad called? That jugaad is called the dative bond. Okay? A lot of you must have studied about the dative bond already in some book, maybe in your school classes, maybe in some other coaching class, whatever. The dative bond or the coordinate bond. Okay? The dative bond or the coordinate bond. It's also known as the coordinate bond, is just a hack. It is just a jugaad. It is done so that you can make a structure of that species on paper. This does not exist in reality. I will write over here, this is not real. Okay? Coordinate bond doesn't exist in reality. It is just a jugaad. It is just a life hack. So that you can make the structure on paper by using the ideas of the Lewis theory itself. Okay, just by using the ideas of the Lewis theory, you want to make a bond? Let's do a jugaad. What is the real thing that exists? The real thing that exists is known as resonance. We will learn that later. Most likely we learn that when we do general organic chemistry. If you want to learn general organic chemistry, you can just go on YouTube and watch this very interesting series called Epic GOC. This is available on YouTube. Just search on YouTube Epic GOC. Very beautiful series. Over there you search for the classes of resonance. You'll get the idea of what I mean. We learn it later. So what is a coordinate bond? What does it look like? See, let's work with ozone once again. We want to make a structure for ozone. What is done in a coordinate bond is two bonds are put over here. Okay, great. Now these two are satisfied, but this guy is not satisfied. Okay. We know that ozone overall is neutral. Yeah. It doesn't have any positive charge. It doesn't have any negative charge. Ozone on its own is a neutral species. The jugaad, I'll just make it for you and you'll be like, okay, cool. The jugaad is make a bond over here. Okay, this oxygen is satisfied. It has two bond pairs and two lone pairs. No need to change this guy. Two bond pairs, two lone pairs. That oxygen is satisfied. Very nice, brilliant. This oxygen now has three bond pairs. It has three bond pairs. If you do a little bit of logical analysis, this oxygen already had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 valence electrons. You've made 3 bonds with it. Yeah. तो इसके पास कितने बचेंगे? What will it be remaining with? It will be remaining with one lone pair. Do you realize? Isn't it? यही बचेगा ना इसके पास. Can you figure that out? It will have one lone pair, 3 bond pairs, 1 lone pair. But now you must be wondering, sir, but wait, you said it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lone pairs. I mean, it has 6 valence electrons. 2 of the electrons are going over here. If 1 electron goes over here, this is a lone pair. What about this electron? What about this extra red electron that is here? What do we do with this guy, this tiny little guy? My dear friends, what did I tell you? I told you that one bond is made out of 2 electrons. Let's do this jugaad to make the structure on paper. Let's give this pair of electrons entirely to this oxygen. These 2 electrons are given totally by this oxygen to this oxygen. This oxygen is not contributing to the electrons in a bond. Okay, this is a bond which has 2 electrons from the same atom. Typically what happens is, you have one atom, you have another atom, they end up sharing their electrons. Yeah, they end up sharing their electrons. But over here what is happening? These 2 electrons, just for our ability to draw it on paper, सिर्फ ताकि हम paper पे बना सकें, we gave both of the electrons to the other oxygen. This is the hack. This bond that we've made has 2 electrons coming from the same atom. This bond is what is called the coordinate bond or the dative bond. It does not exist in reality. It is not real. What exists in reality is resonance. We'll learn that later. But over here, if you on paper make a bond which has 2 electrons coming from the same species, that is known as a coordinate bond. So my dear friends, if we do this, if both of these electrons have come from the oxygen, yeah, if both of these electrons have come from this oxygen now has 3 bond pairs, 1 lone pair. Do you realize it should have a positive charge? Obviously. This oxygen now, it did not use any of its original valence electrons. इसने अपने valence electrons तो use ही नहीं किए भाई, इसके पास ही पड़े. It has its valence electrons with itself already. You added one more bond. Yeah, you added one more bond via the coordinate bond, via the dative bond. So this guy has 3 lone pairs, 1 bond pair. So obviously this oxygen will carry a negative charge. ये negative charge बना दिया यहाँ पे. My dear friends, In this structure, there is one positive charge and one negative charge. Overall, ozone is neutral. Yeah? Overall, ozone is neutral. One positive charge is there, one negative charge is there. They balance each other out in the structure itself. Ozone is neutral. Okay? Once more, let's draw the structure. Okay, so that it is a cleaner structure. If you want to rewind and see the explanation again, you can. The class is on YouTube. You can rewind it 200 times and watch it. So what we do is oxygen. This oxygen is satisfied already, neutral. We take one lone pair, keep it over here. We take the other lone pair. Instead, we make a bond with that lone pair. This oxygen is not using any of its lone pairs for bonding. It is just accepting another electron pair for bonding. So finally, this guy has two lone pairs, two bond pairs. Hence, it is neutral. This guy has three bond pairs, one lone pair. Hence, it will have a positive charge. This guy has three lone pairs, one bond pair. Hence, this guy will have a negative charge on it. Got it? Fine. ये रहा इसके lone pair. So this, my dear friends, is the structure of ozone, and this very ghatiya board that we've drawn over here. It's a pathetic jugaad. I do not personally like the idea behind a coordinate bond, but this bond that we've made is what we call a coordinate bond or a dative bond. And what's the special property of this bond? That two electrons are coming from the same atom. It is a little weird to understand the coordinate bond at first. When I was in 11th, I couldn't understand the coordinate bond at all. I had to literally remember the species where the coordinate bond would be found. मैं रट्टा मार के जाता था. But now I finally understand it and I'm trying to explain it to you in the best possible manner. Okay? Cool. So this is what a coordinate bond looks like. There is another way to draw the coordinate bond, since you don't want to write positive and negative in a species which is in fact neutral. There is another way to draw the structure. The way to draw the structure is, I'll make it over here in this area. Another way to draw the structure is oxygen, double bond oxygen. This is fine. On the left hand side, instead of making this positive and negative charge, just make an arrow. Okay, क्या किया अपन ने यहाँ पे? We just made the oxygen and we just made an arrow towards this oxygen. So this represents a coordinate bond. So you can make the coordinate bond with a positive and negative charge. You can make the coordinate bond with an arrow, however you want to do it. Okay? You can write a positive and negative charge. You can write just an arrow. Both ways are fine to draw a coordinate bond. So people, I'll give you a homework. Try to make this structure. Okay, this is also an interesting structure. Try to make this at home. NO3 negative. Okay, this might use the application of a dative bond. Try this out. This is a homework for you. I will draw this structure in the next class, by the way. So before I show you the limitations of the octet rule, that will be the last thing that we discuss for today's class. Let me tell you the schedule of our classes. For all of you students who are in 11th class, okay, the schedule of the classes is Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday at 7 p.m. Okay, this is the general schedule of classes for 11th class students. For 12th class students, the classes happen on Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 7 p.m. And for those of you who are preparing for 2020 examinations, you could be droppers, you could be someone who's completed 12th and is waiting for the examinations to happen, then your classes will happen on, okay, 2020 classes will happen on Monday to Friday at 8:30 p.m. Okay, this is the basic schedule that we follow on this channel, right? So people, now let's quickly just go through the limitations of the octet rule. You might have studied this in your earlier classes. If you were an ICSE board, then you've definitely studied these. So limitations of the octet rule are, there are a lot of compounds that form incomplete octets, LICL. Lithium has a duplet, not an octet. BeH2. Beryllium has a duplet, not an octet. Hydrogen has a duplet, not an octet. BCl3. That's very interesting. Boron forms only 3 bonds around it. Chlorine's octet is satisfied, but if you notice, boron's octet is incomplete. Still, BCl3 exists. Okay. Now, once again, why do things exist the way they exist in nature? They just do. We as chemists, we as scientists are just trying our best to give a theory that explains the bonding. But again, no theory is perfect. Even the most advanced theory, that is the molecular orbital theory, it also has some limitations, and we'll learn that later towards the end of this entire chapter. Cool. So this is one limitation of the octet rule. There are lots of elements with incomplete octets. There are lots of electrons with there are lots of molecules with odd number of electrons. NO2. Do you realize nitrogen has 7 electrons in its valence shell. These will have odd number of electrons overall if you count them. How can these species be made? But they do exist. Okay? These species do exist, but how do they exist? It's weird, but they do. So odd electron molecules exist. Octet rule cannot satisfy the explanation of why these structures exist. Expanded octet, PF5 exists, SF6 exists, H2SO4. What's the structure of H2SO4? I'll quickly tell you. Slowly and steadily, you'll also learn how to draw these structures and they'll become very obvious. This is what H2SO4 looks like. Arey bhai. Sulfur has 8 bonds around it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 electrons. What's going on? So octet rule cannot explain the expanded octet. Why do these structures exist? Well, because if you look at sulfur or phosphorus, they have empty d orbitals. Sulfur and phosphorus have the third shell open to them. Yeah, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, they have only 2 shells open to them. Yeah, so in the first shell you have only S, second shell you have S and P. But in the third shell, as soon as you have access to the third shell, you have 3S, you have 3P and you have 3D. So these d orbitals can accept these extra electrons. PF5 hai na jaise. So phosphorus has 5 bonds over there. So the extra electrons that you see in its valence shell can be accepted by the d orbitals. Okay, this idea is not explained by the octet rule. So then it was based on the inertness of noble gases. Yeah, you said noble gases are noble, that's why nothing reacts. But then you realize that noble gases also react. Brilliant. Noble gases also react. It's like your parents want you to become like Sharma ji's son, but then they realize Sharma ji's son also failed this time in the examination. Great. Also, it says nothing about the shape of the molecules. Whenever I'm drawing the structure of water, let's say, should I draw it like this? Should I draw it like this? A lot of you will say, sir, water has bent structure. But why? Yeah. Should I draw the structure like this? Octet rule doesn't tell us how to draw the structure. We just use our brains and try to draw the structure as symmetrically as possible. But octet rule does not tell anything about the shape of the molecule. It does not explain the relative stability of the molecules. It just says bonds get formed. Which bond is more stable? Which bond is less stable? You don't know. Yeah. So these are the limitations of the octet rule, and eventually in this particular chapter we'll try to go through multiple theories. Yeah, we'll see the theory of how the ionic bond is formed. We'll also see the theory of VSEPR, that is valence shell electron pair repulsion theory. We'll see valence bond theory. We'll see molecular orbital theory. We'll see the theory of hybridization. Lots of different things in this chapter. This chapter will take a long time. So please make sure you stay subscribed to the channel, because we are going to cover the entire chapter with a lot of interesting ideas and details. Also, if you enjoyed the class, please make sure you hit that like button. If you want to join Vedantu as a full long-term student, then don't forget to enroll in the pro course. The links are down in the description box. I have also shown you those links somewhere over here. Yeah. If you want to join Vedantu as a long-term full student, then these are the links that you can follow, right? So my dear friends, thank you so much for joining in. It was a premiered class. It wasn't live. I will take live class on Tuesday, so don't worry. If you have any more doubts that you want to clarify, then please leave them in the comment section down below. Until next time, that's it from my side. Take care.